Good evening, dear listeners. So, let's continue with our chapter 5 titled as Taming Your Temper. He returned after a long day at office. His wife lovingly served dinner. He groaned, "Oh, not again. Why did you cook this?" Banging the spoon on the table, he angrily stood up to leave. She instantly knew he was dumping his workplace frustration on her. He had done that several times. She politely said, "Please do not be angry. Please recall. I asked in the morning if you wanted this for dinner and you said yes. Anyway, let me quickly prepare something else." He replied, "I don't want anything. You cannot cook well, speak well, or dress well. You cannot do anything right." Wanting to calm him down, the wife offered a chair, but he pushed it aside. She gave him a glass of water, but he refused to drink. She pleaded with him to become calm, but he yelled, "I cannot!" The doorbell rang. Ting ting. The husband opened the door. It was a courier delivery boy. The boy suddenly realized he was at the wrong address and apologized. The husband smiled and said, "Never mind, you take care." He closed the door. The wife mumbled, "You were angry with me for no fault of mine, but you were nice to him though he was at fault." He retorted, "I cannot help it. It is you who always makes me angry. You bring out the worst in me." Most of us have been in similar situations. We have either been at the receiving end of someone's anger even when we did nothing wrong, or we have fumed at somebody even when they did nothing wrong. What pushes your anger button? As the most evolved beings on the planet, we enjoy taking control of every aspect of life. We even expect the world to submit to our idea of control. But when reality pans out differently, anger is the emotion we commonly create. We believe we are peaceful individuals, and it is those irritating people or horrible situations that makes us angry. Check if you believe in any of these statements about anger. Other people and situations are the cause of my anger. Anger is a normal human reaction. Anger arises by itself. A little anger is harmless as it brings a rush of energy. Anger is necessarily to get work done, but properly and in time. Anger is justified at times. We might cite different reasons to be angry: failure to meet our own expectations, other people not being our way, someone making mistakes, unfavorable situations, or fatigue. If none of these reasons apply, we blame the stars, our horoscope, or genes for our short temper. Nevertheless, we believe the cause for our anger is always external. But that is not true. Anger is our choice and our internal creation. It is a result of our lack of self-control, lack of patience, and lack of awareness to think the right way in response to a situation. Anger begins in our mind at first as toxic or turbulent thoughts. When we do not control these thoughts, the turbulent energy creates impatience. As wrong thoughts accumulate further, they cause irritation. The next stage is of frustration. If we do not change our thoughts, even at this point, our bitter feelings develop into anger. An extreme expression of our anger is called fury or rage. Notice how each subsequent stage becomes more uncomfortable. Has your anger been useful? We spoil years of relationships by losing our temper once. We damage our reputation at the workplace by venting our frustration once. We lose a huge business deal by being rude to a customer once. We sustain physical injuries by getting involved in an incident of road rage once. Just one episode of anger often makes us pay a heavy price. Although our angry reaction is a result of irritation or frustration that has accumulated over a long time. Having been led to believe that anger is natural, necessary, or obvious, and most of us have created a habit of getting angry every now and then, this is why we often say things like, "The driver was late, I got angry, he promised to be punctual. I yelled at the plumber and he fixed the tap. The kids had messed up their room but cleaned it when I shouted at them." Perhaps anger did get us what we wanted externally. The driver, the plumber, kids, everyone fell in line. But within the next few minutes, another issue came up and we continued using the same method, as it seemed to have once worked perfectly. We got results once again, so we believed anger works and is necessary. This is true to a large extent. People understand our disappointment, they obey us and get things done. But we do not realize that it is all happening at the cost of our happiness, health, and relationships. Targeting someone with anger affects our relationship with them. When there are undercurrents in a relationship, the task we do will certainly not carry the right energy. No matter how hard we try to justify anger, the fact remains that it is neither useful nor justified. Let's understand with an example. Employees at an office are working comfortably, focused on their task. The CEO, known for his aggressive and critical behavior, enters. Suddenly, the energy of the office changes. A heavy and uncomfortable silence sets in. He starts hovering over his staff at their desks. He stands behind an employee, staring into the computer. The employee feels restless, scared, and anxious. His fear radiates negativity into his mind, body, work, and into the environment. As a result, the employee commits a mistake. The CEO quickly points at the error, embarrasses, and warns the employee. That employee feels terrible and cannot stop thinking of what happened. He just cannot focus on work. He feels powerless and intimidated. His ego gets hurt. He goes home early and shouts at his wife and children for trivial reasons, as if to prove to himself he is not weak. They feel scared. Their fear makes him feel slightly better. He tells himself, "This is good. People fear me. I am powerful." Effectively, the anger of the CEO had a cascading effect. The employee created anger, he was not efficient at work, and his family started fearing him. Now visualize the CEO to be a peaceful and cheerful nature. Being a calming influence, he promotes a positive work culture. His energy empowers the employee to perform to his potential. The employee goes home in a happy state of mind. His wife and children enjoy spending the time with him. In this case, the calmness of the CEO had a cascading effect. The employee remained happy, he worked efficiently, and his family bonded well with him. Does anger impart a sense of empowerment? Often, when we remain silent and do not react, we are perceived as weak. But if we yell and speak in a loud tone, accompanied by aggressive body language, we are perceived as strong. Therefore, we hear people saying, "My silence will make everyone think I am a coward. If I keep quiet, they will take me for granted." We all know someone who speaks or behaves aggressively. They believe in arguing, venting, dominating, or even punishing other people to feel powerful. All I need to do is raise my voice and my family immediately obeys me. When I get angry, no one dares to stand in front of me. There are people who resort to throwing things around to express displeasure. A teacher throws a chalk, a parent throws household items, and a boss throws files angrily. People start obeying them out of fear or helplessness, leading them to believe that anger gives them the power to control others. Anger might give them outer power, which means power over people in situations, but what they do not realize is that anger takes away their inner power. When we lack inner power, we try to make up for the deficiency by exerting power over the people. Wanting to control others becomes an addiction. The expectation of people doing things the way we want, the anxiety about getting someone to obey us, and the disappointment if they disobey, each of these scenarios takes a toll on our mind. Our inner power reduces quickly. When people obey us, we believe that we are powerful, but internally our power keeps depleting for two reasons. Firstly, our sense of power becomes dependent on other people. Dependency is depletive. Secondly, the people who are being controlled will feel humiliated, rejected, and hurt. Their negative emotions are vibrations which reach us and deplete our energy. Other people cannot always be controlled, but because of our age, position in a relationship, or status at work, we sometimes feel entitled to feel angry at others. Fear or helplessness might lead them to comply, but their hurt or painful feelings are equivalent to someone telling us day after day, I am unhappy and you are the reason for my unhappiness. Every time a person holds us responsible for their pain, fear, sorrow, and helplessness, we receive the highest form of negative energy from them. The moment they think of us or meet us, their energy gets disturbed. But we wrongly believe that people obeying us means they respect us. People who are afraid of us cannot respect us. When we are respected, pure and powerful energy comes to us from them. When we are feared, toxic and turbulent energy comes to us from them. Fear and respect cannot coexist. Instead of controlling other people, we need to control our thoughts, words, and behavior. When we are in control of ourselves, we can be confident enough to tell the self, I am a powerful soul. Even if other people's behavior or situations are not favorable, I remain calm. I remain stable. This is power, not over situations, not over people, but over the self. Powerful souls understand that everyone is a soul on a journey. They realize that everyone carries sanskars that are different from their own. So they accept that everyone's ways of thinking, speaking, behaving, living, and working are bound to be different. Other people always being exactly how we want them to be is not normal. People always meeting our expectations is not normal. What is normal is for people to be different, not wrong, just different. What's normal is accepting our differences. What is normal is to live and work with dignity and with different people while adjusting to their different sanskars. An investment that guarantees bitter returns. If you believe anger is necessary, you tend to use it even in the most trivial circumstances. Even if you decide to be peaceful one day, you fail to sustain it. Have you considered for how long your anger could affect you? For starters, it is not limited to just the duration of your emotional outburst. Each time you get angry at someone, you actually make an energy investment, the return of which will keep coming to you until that person is emotionally healed. Let's understand the dynamics. Your investment of anger depends on you. The investment depends on the bitterness you create in terms of your intentions, words, and behavior. You are affected as soon as you create anger, since the creator of any emotion is the first receiver of its energy. How long you remain invested in anger depends on the extent and duration of your angry feelings. The return of your anger depends on them. The recipient of your anger might create hurt, resentment, or hatred. Their painful vibrations radiate to you as they believe you are the cause of their pain. For how long you keep getting returns for the anger you invested depends on their emotional health. That person could take 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years, 20 years, or a lifetime to heal. Until then, you receive their vibrations of pain, which subtly deplete your energy. The duration someone takes to heal does not depend on the intensity of your anger. It does not depend on their mistake either. It solely depends on their ability to release or let go of their disturbed feelings. We make so many energy investments of anger day after day, year after year, the returns of which keep coming. Sometimes we cannot understand why we are unhappy, why we feel hollow, or why we feel low. Now we know the reason. It is a return of our investment. For your own protection, it is important to apologize to whoever you lose your temper at. Make it a personal principle to apologize to people for your anger, irrespective of their age, role, or position. Your apology will help them to heal faster and you will stop receiving their vibrations of pain. For any reason, if you are unable to apologize orally, send a message. Apologizing is not a sign of weakness but rather a sign of strength. It reaffirms your understanding that anger is wrong, and so you can work towards eliminating that sanskar. If you use compassion, that is also an investment whose returns will be pure wishes and blessings that come your way. In this case, you may not even understand why you feel so light and happy. This again is a return of your investment. Anger, a matter of choice. Do you lash out at elders at home? Do you yell at your boss? Do you shout at a 3-month-old infant? No, you don't. You remain patient and silent. At least you refrain from saying anything to them, even if you disagree with them. This means you do not choose to be angry with people holding a certain position of power, seniority, role, or responsibility. Then who do you get angry at? At those with whom you believe it is all right to be angry or safe to be angry, perhaps your siblings, friends, spouse, children, peers, or subordinates. This is good news because it brings back the ability to control anger. You are still at a stage where you are choosing to create anger. Note the word choosing. You choose when and where to be angry, at whom and how much of anger to create. Take a moment to hammer this deep into your consciousness. When you can choose patience with one person, you can choose it with anyone and everyone. Visualize two people in front of you, one of them angrily screaming, insulting, and criticizing the other. The person getting scolded is simply looking down and not saying a word. What would your thoughts be? You might feel sorry for the person getting scolded. You pity his helplessness. Turns out, you are actually wrong to an extent. The one who creates anger suffers more than the one who receives it. Here is the reason. The recipient of anger. This person has a choice of either consuming the angry energy thrown at him or completely stop receiving it. For instance, if someone is known to be short-tempered, after a while, people stop getting affected when that person gets angry. They even become immune to the angry reactions. They might even laugh it off in their minds. They can become indifferent or stubborn. Essentially, they have an option whether or not to get affected. This is why we usually hear people even joke about an angry person. He will certainly shout today, but his anger no longer bothers me. The creator of anger. The person creating anger is the first to experience the energy of anger. He cannot escape the toxic energy radiating to his mind, body, relationships, and environment. We have already discussed the consequences of anger on emotional health. Besides, consequences on physical health can range from shivering, dryness of the mouth, headache, insomnia, and high blood pressure to even cardiac arrest. A study demonstrated that letting go of negative feelings that we may have for someone relieves and reduces chronic backache. The soul is energy and the body is matter. But the body also has an energy field which is called the energy body. Today, there is technology to photograph the energy body, which reveals the region and extent of energy blockage. Before a person feels any discomfort in the body, the energy blockage can be detected. First, there is an energy blockage in the mind created due to the turbulent emotions like anger, hurt, resentment, stress, fear, guilt, and hatred. Next, it manifests as a blockage in the energy body. And much later, the energy blockage manifests into an illness in the physical body. We experience the symptoms only when it has reached the third stage, and so that is the stage which is treated by doctors. Doctors urge us to change our lifestyle so that the illness does not recur. We usually make changes to our dietary, exercise, and sleep habits. What we fail to change are our emotional patterns. Let's remember that our lifestyle also includes the way we think, speak, behave, work, and live. Some of us have experienced energy healing, where a healing master cleanses the blockage in our energy body, or an emotional blockage in our subconscious, as a result of which we start feeling better physically also. Be assertive, not aggressive. Reacting angrily is not a big deal. Anyone can do that. When someone shouts at us, it is so easy to shout back louder or even raise our hand. But when someone criticizes, lies, behaves rudely, or shies away from responsibilities, we actually need power if we want to respond peacefully. Everyone makes mistakes. Often a mistake may just mean we do not do things the way the other person thinks is right. The ideal way of getting work done is to focus totally on the act, separating it from the person. Anger carries critical, negative, and turbulent energy through thoughts and words. It is a subtle form of violence aimed at the other person who has not behaved the way we want them to. We use anger and want that person to feel bad, hurt, humiliated, and most importantly, accept his fault. Sometimes we even bring up their past mistakes and unnecessarily complicate the matter. We have reached a state where many people believe that only when we are loud or aggressive, our words are to be taken seriously and not otherwise. We need to break this belief. We can do it only when we shift from our anger to assertiveness. Being assertive enables us to focus on the task and the next steps to take. Peace and dignity reflect in our character. We do not target the people who make mistakes, so we keep our respect from them intact. When we treat someone respectfully, we will not have to get them to work for us. They will want to work for us because of the pure energy we radiate. This implies we do not find the need to raise our voice to be heard, understood, or obeyed. Let's create a new belief system and tell ourselves, anger is damaging. Assertiveness is the way to get work done. Let's experiment with this and see the results. Getting a handle on anger. Today, there are places where heavy punching bags are hung for people to release their anger. Photos of the person they are angry at are sometimes stuck on these bags before the punches are delivered. Recall the era of writing letters to people when we did not have phones or instant messaging. In those times, if we were angry about a person or situation, we would of course write a strong letter spilling all our anger into it. But by the time we purchased an envelope, wrote the message, and stuck the postage stamp, sometimes hours or days would have passed. By then, our anger would have been doused significantly, and so we would decide not to post the letter. The time gap made sure that the situation did not escalate. In the present times, we use phones and emails to text or talk about every detail of our lives as it happens. So the moment we create an angry thought, we vent to someone. At times, that person endorses our reaction, thereby fueling our anger. This unnecessary communication escalates the situation. This is why elders advise us to count from 1 to 10, take a few deep breaths, or drink water as soon as we start feeling angry, so that we introduce a time gap between the stimulus and our response. We are often told suppressing anger will hurt you a lot more than expressing it. Indeed, suppressing any negative emotion, not just anger, is toxic for both mind and body. But venting anger is equally damaging. Think about this. What happens when we do not let anger out? Each time we create anger, we are the first to experience its negative energy. Subsequently, we receive negative energy from the person who is the target of our anger. Besides, each time we vent, we intensify our sanskar of anger. For these reasons, we need to learn to not create anger, and even if we create it, it's important to immediately change our thoughts and heal. Let's understand this with an example. Suppose someone makes a mistake and you get angry. There are few simple steps to diffuse your anger. Step 1. Do not express your anger although internally you may be angry. Step 2. You might create these types of thoughts. Why did he do this? How could he not even inform me? I should not have trusted him. He always makes this mistake. If you express anger with words, the other person might react and defend themselves, which will make you angrier. But now you choose not to say anything to him. Step 3. It might be tempting to instantly send that person a message or email. It's crucial that you resist that urge. Step 4. Instead of writing to someone else, write a message to yourself to help change your thoughts. This ensures you do not suppress anger but instead address it. For instance, you can write, he should have not done it without discussing it with me, but he must have had a reason. I will ask him respectfully. I am ready to understand this perspective. Step 5. Notice two things that happen when the mind obeys your instruction. Your willpower increases and your anger starts diluting. Today you stopped at 4 thoughts. The next time you might create only 3 thoughts. So you resolve the anger outside gradually and with understanding. Knowledge and soul power, anger gets eliminated internally in your thoughts as well. Step 6. Using only positive words. Speak or write to that person who has made a mistake. Appreciate that person for his strengths and then suggest a way to rectify his mistake without accusing or criticizing. Share your expectations about his ways of working or behaving. When you put your ego aside and then write or speak, you actually empower that other person also to put aside ego and listen. This prevents ego clashes or arguments and encourages a mutually respectful dialogue. 6 steps to evade the anger trap. The sanskar of anger can be so deep that we barely realize how it displaces peace completely. Peace is not just the absence of anger but our very state of being, which translates into pure thoughts, kind words, and courteous behavior. Peace is the antidote to anger. Mastering these 6 steps can erase the angry habit and restore peace. Step 1. Observe your state of mind the moment there is a slight disturbance, like traces of impatience, irritation, or edginess. This awareness will help you take steps to arrest the emotion well before it turns into full-blown anger. Apart from watching your thoughts when you feel unpleasant, check your thoughts after every hour or two. Step 2. Take complete responsibility for your disturbing thoughts and feelings. Your mind will be tempted to hold external factors responsible. Counsel the mind by saying, I am responsible for how I think and feel. My irritation is my creation. I overcome it. Your mind takes time to agree, especially when the other person is clearly wrong or when a situation is clearly unfavorable. Patiently and lovingly counsel it as many times as needed to bring back responsibility to the self. Self-counseling gradually changes your thoughts and then your responses to situations will change, helping you gradually overcome anger. Step 3. Identify the reasons for the inner turbulence. Anger is mostly an outcome of attachment towards a person, object, place, position, or task. For instance, if someone makes a mistake, your anger is not about their mistake. It's most likely due to your attachment to that task or that person. You believe their mistake will cost you dearly, or because you care so much for that person, you cannot tolerate them making mistakes. At this moment, remind yourself, I am a trustee. I take care of everything, but nothing belongs to me. I use calmness and patience in my roles and responsibilities. Step 4. Accept the circumstances, understanding that people and situations are not in your control. Moreover, it has already happened. The past has passed. There is no point wasting time or energy creating anger by accusing, shouting, blaming, or reprimanding. Focus on the 2-stepped responses. Focus on your state of mind first and then on the solution. Step 5. Remind yourself, I am a peaceful being. Peace comes naturally in response to whatever happens. No matter what has happened, I will respond my way, the right way, with patience, assertiveness, and compassion. My peaceful mind enables me to resolve the issue. You can reaffirm these thoughts once every morning, once at night before sleep, and any number of times the day. This programs your mind to respond the right way. Step 6. As anger subsides, your peace builds up. In this peaceful state, you are lucky to find a quick and accurate solution to the current issue. Inner success in terms of stability, comfort, and inner power will influence outer success. Now make corrections or discipline people assertively. Create no anger zones. Until a few years ago, people were allowed to smoke cigarettes even in public spaces. Later, several countries identified specific spaces where smoking was prohibited. This led to the creation of no smoking zones in the interest of non smokers. Can we not apply the same rule for anger, knowing well that it is harmful for us and for people around us? We can each make it a personal law that our home and workplace will be no anger zones. Creative posters or signs can be put up to convey this is a no anger zone at strategic spots at your home, office, shop, hospital, school, and colleges. This will be a huge step in the direction of eradicating anger and reducing disrespect, fear, anxiety, and hurt around you. We already have clearly defined no anger zone in our mind when we interact with certain people. As discussed earlier, we do not get angry with those who are in a position of power in terms of age, role, authority, or designation. Why not expand its boundaries to let everybody inside? There are simple steps that can yield great results in ending anger. Step 1. Identify 2 family members and 2 colleagues with whom you often lose your temper. The moment you feel an urge to snap at them, pause. Step 2. Do not allow anger to come into your words or behavior. Restrict it at the level of thoughts. Step 3. Remind yourself lovingly, I am a powerful being living in a no anger zone. I understand they have a reason for what they did. I use patience and acceptance. It's my protection and empowerment. Step 4. Notice your anger subsiding and eventually ceasing. Now talk to the person with patience and acceptance. Give them the necessary correction, advice, opinion, instruction, or a warning, as the case may be. Even if you are having to take a disciplinary action, do it assertively but not angrily. Every week, step 5, move more and more people into the no anger zone. Establishing no anger zones as a personal discipline creates a space in our mind and our surroundings for peaceful and open communication. It lets us conserve physical and emotional energy and thereby boost inner power. Even if things go wrong, we will have the resources, mind power and people power to come together to resolve the issue. Om Shanti. Thank you. Good evening.